Michael Jackson. He was born on August 29, 1958, in a two-bedroom apartment in Indiana, USA. The house was small, cramped with 12 members. Michael was eighth among his 10 brothers and sisters. His father worked in a steel factory. He was a very ambitious man in his young age, but fate took him away from his passion of singing. But he wanted to fulfill his dreams through his children's. From young age, Michael learned singing, and at just 5 years old, he joined his brother's band named Jackson 5. While other children were playing, building beautiful childhood, Jackson brothers were confined in a cramped room rehearsing for 8 to 10 hours. But luckily, their talent didn't go unnoticed, and they performed in clubs, talent shows, events which earned them popularity and bread. Among small Jacksons, Michael stood out for his unique voice and stage presence. In 1969, they signed a contract for Motown Records and started producing songs. Same year, their song "I Want You Back" became a #1 hit. But behind a successful career boost was dark and emotional house. Michael had to rehearse all the time, and they couldn't make friends and enjoy their childhood. This built emotional isolation in Michael. At home, his father was physically abusing, but his mother was the only caring, calm soul who encouraged and made him feel safe. Even as the youngest member in the Jackson 5, Michael was the most popular one. His voice had a spark which could move hearts, so the record company gave him his first solo music just at the age of 13, Got to Be There. By 14, he had his first solo #1 hit. It was Ben. It was a gentle ballad about a pet rat that made people cry. It was a beautiful creation which proved he wasn't just a pop singer but a story. Slowly, he was dreaming big, and at 17 years, he left Motown Records because he wanted more creative freedom. Then he joined Epic Records, where his creativity shined. At just 21 years old, he released the album named Off the Wall, which was a major hit with 20 million copies sold throughout the world. Then at the age of 24, he released another major hit named Thriller. It was the best-selling album in history, over 70 million copies sold. Then when he was 25 years old, he did the famous moonwalk and became an overnight sensation. With his constant effort, he broke the racial barrier and opened the doors for black artists on mainstream TV. By then, he was no longer the little boy from Gary, Indiana. He was king of pop. Afterwards, he never stopped. Michael continued to push boundaries through powerful performances, groundbreaking music videos, and messages that shook the world. He became not just a pop star, but a force of innovation in music, dance, and global culture. On the other hand, his life was marked by emotional struggles. Since young age, his father used to mock him for his big nose and outer appearance. Also in teenage years, Michael got extreme acne, so he became extremely insecure about his look. Even in his mid-20s, he went through vitiligo, in which his skin got so many white patches, and he had lupus too, due to which he was sensitive to sunlight. These things slowly deteriorated his self-confidence. Later, he went through multiple surgeries in his nose and face. He was highly criticized by media and his fans for this. It was said that he had negative influence on young people because of his constant desire to change his outer looks. Also, from his childhood, he felt extremely lonely and he did not get to enjoy his childhood, so later he built Neverland Ranch, a place filled with personal amusement park, animals, and movie theaters. For Michael, it was a way for him to revive his life, but it showcased that how much he missed his young life and how much lonely he was. Talking about his love life, he had multiple affairs and at the age of 35, he got married to Lisa Mary Percy in 1994. Whole world was shocked because a few months before marriage, allegations were filed against Michael for child abuse. Media showcased it as a publicity stunt to divert the topic, but Lisa described it as pure love. But she claimed that their relation was emotionally intense. She described Michael as charming but deeply guarded, craving both control and comfort. Just after 2 years, they divorced. Same year, at the age of 38, he married Debbie Royal, a dermatology nurse. Unlike his first marriage, this one was less about romance and more about family. Debbie said Michael wanted to be a father very badly. She gave birth to 2 children named Prince Michael and Paris Michael. Later, within 2 years of their marriage, they divorced, and understanding Michael's love for children, Debbie gave full custody of children to Michael. Later, Michael also had a third child at the age of 44 through surrogacy. His name was Blanket. He used to keep his children away from media and public. He used to cover their faces in public because he didn't wanted his children to be bullied by media like he was for his appearance and personal life. Privately, he was shy, deeply spiritual, and often lonely. He loved to write poetry, read the Bible, and write in journals. Though he had global fame, millions of fans, and unmatched talent, Michael spent much of his life searching for something simple: love without judgment. Though Michael Jackson was a global icon, his life was surrounded by major controversies, especially legal battles that deeply affected him, both emotionally and professionally. In 1993, at just 35, Michael faced his first major allegation when 13-year-old Jordan Chandler accused him of child sexual abuse. Michael had grown close to Jordan and his family, especially Jordan's mother. They spent time at Neverland and Michael even helped them financially. When the allegations surfaced, it broke him. He maintained his innocence and said he would never harm a child. The case never went to criminal court but was settled out of court in 1994 for around 23 million. Michael said he settled to avoid more pain, not to admit guilty. The media painted him as suspicious and labeled him as Waco Jacko, meaning unstable crazy Jackson, which Michael hated deeply. At 44, Michael agreed to do a documentary with British journalist Martin Bashir, hoping it would show his true personality. But Bashir's final edit painted him as strange and questionable, especially the part where Michael spoke about sharing his bed with children, saying it was innocent and full of love. This interview led to a second wave of public backlash and opened the door to new legal scrutiny. Shortly after the documentary aired, Gavin Arvizo, then a 13-year-old cancer survivor Michael had supported, accused him of molestation. Michael had helped Gavi during his illness, invited his family to Neverland, and formed a bond with him. At just 46, Michael went on trial, facing 14 criminal charges. His friendships with children were heavily questioned. Some old staff members testified against him, but many, including Macaulay Culkin, defended him. After months of emotional testimony, he was found not guilty on all charges. Though legally cleared, the damage to his public image and mental health was deep. In the years following the trial, Michael dealt with numerous lawsuits, some over unpaid debts, others over cancelled projects or contracts. His lifestyle, legal costs, and falling income led to several financial stress. He had to give up his full control of Neverland and sell parts of his valuable music catalog to stay afloat. Many of the people who accused or turned on Michael were once close to him. Some were parents he had helped, others were employees who felt betrayed or wanted compensation. Those betrayals left him guarded and more isolated, increasing his dependency on a small circle of people, some of whom weren't always good for him. At the age of 50, Michael was just weeks away from his biggest comeback. This is it. He had been rehearsing hard in Los Angeles, trying to make a perfect return. On the mid of June 20th, he rehearsed for over 4 hours at the Staples Center. His crew said he seemed energetic and focused. But on the morning of June 25, around 12:30 p.m., Michael was found unconscious in his bedroom at his rented Holmby Hills mansion. His personal physician, or Conrad Murray, had given him several medication the night before to help him sleep, including propofol, a powerful anesthetic not meant for home use. When he was found unconscious, CPR was attempted and paramedics rushed him to the hospital. But at 2:26 p.m., Michael Joseph Jackson was officially declared dead. The world was in shock. At first, people didn't understand how a healthy-looking Michael could suddenly die. Rumors spread fast. Some believed it was due to stress from his comeback. Others suspected foul play or drug overdose. Fans were furious with Dr. Murray, who was later convicted for involuntary manslaughter in 2011. He had left Michael alone after administering propofol and delayed calling for help. The autopsy confirmed his death was due to acute propofol intoxication and ruled it a homicide. Michael had also been dealing with insomnia and anxiety, often relying on doctors to help him sleep. His death triggered an outpouring of grief worldwide. Fans gathered outside his home, hospitals, and the Apollo Theater. Radio stations played his music non-stop. A public memorial at the Staples Center was watched by over 2.5 million people globally. Even those who once criticized him now remembered him as a genius. The sadness reminded everyone just how big his impact was. Michael Jackson remains the king of pop even after his death. He sold over 750 million records. His music continues to influence artists worldwide. He helped break racial barriers on MTV. His dance moves, like the moonwalk, are still iconic, and his humanitarian work, though often overlooked, impacted many lives. Now his children, Prince, Paris, and Biggie, carry his name forward, often speaking about his kindness, creativity, and unconditional love. Like and subscribe for more videos like this.